5, 4, 3, 2, and we're live here at the station of decapitation without dread. I'm Nasty Neal.
That would make me terrible, Troy.
I'm Treacherous, Trista.
And we're joined by the return of Al Burke. Well, the first time here on Without Your Head. It's very cool to talk with you again.
Hey, good to be back. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we need a cool name. Evil Al, maybe?
Oh.
Well, Mr. Outrageous is what most people know me by, so right. I don't know why you're trying to think of something.
Well, I apologize. But for people who watched Tuesday, we did it, or if you didn't watch Tuesday, you go watch it now. We did an interview with Al all about wrestling, and we kind of stopped, when he transitioned to acting. So this is kind of the continuation. And
Perfect.
For people who just to, fresh people off, if they didn't watch it, how did you go from wrestling to acting?
One of the local promoters here in LA offered me a movie role, and he goes, "I got the perfect part for you." So I read it, and I was telling everybody on the other interview, there was a table, long table, like 3 tables put together of all Hispanic people, because it was a, Hispanic movie about a Mexican folklore hero who was a wrestler, masked a wrestler that was their hero. And so basically all he told me I had to do was beat up, kidnap, and kill Mexicans in East LA. Like, I'm a bad guy. Of course I'll do that. So, but the cool part was I worked with the Mexican wrestlers. So, even though they were different than us, it was an easy transition. We did some great stuff. I mean, I took a backdrop onto the asphalt, no padding, no anything, not even a gator bag. But that's what I do. But yeah, that got me going. I ran out and got an agent and just started going full bore. It took me a while to figure out the system and how to get work. And right now, probably in the last, say, 4 to 5 years, I do approximately 100 jobs a year.
Oh, wow.
Hollywood. So that's basically 2 a week. There's some weeks I get 4 a week, so I'm very blessed. So it's cool. I'm having fun.
Yeah. Do you still do stunts?
I do a lot of stunts because I can do my own. A lot of people hire me because they know I can do that. I also can choreograph, most fight scenes, things like that. So that's part of the reason I get hired a lot, is because I can do a lot of different things. They don't have to pay somebody else to come in to do this or to stunt double me or things like that. So yeah, I would like to do more stunts, but I'm happy with what I get. I mean, I originally set off wanting to be a stuntman while I was being an actor, but I thought that'd really be cool. I figured if I get one job and I get paid, I'm a stuntman. Well, I think IMDb, I probably have, at least 50 credits there. Wow. So I have more credits in stunts than most people have in acting. Yeah. But no, I love every part of it. And, if I get to do it, it's a bonus. If not, I still smile and have a great time.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned you got your knee was hurt when you took the Doomsday device from the Road Warriors in the 80s.
It was hurt after taking that, yes. It was fine before that, but holy crap, what a bump.
Any problems with it while you've been doing the stunt work, or any injuries while you're doing the stunts?
We get injured. I actually get injured more doing stunts in Hollywood than I did in wrestling, which is, a lot of people, wrestling's fake, blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. But anyways, stunt work, a lot of times, like I said, I'm the one who gets called in for no padding. So I can do the asphalt, I can do concrete, I can do a wood floor. I'm one of the few that will do that without hesitation. And most of the time we walk away pretty dang good. It's like, yeah, nail that.
Mike Stack in the chat says that you're a great guy. No question.
He's full of crap. Don't lie to him.
Don't believe him.
Not a word.
So when you... Oh, go on. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I try to be always friendly, always courteous, living the life of the bad guy in the WWF and other places. I learned not to carry it over into real life. Some people are just plain nasty, mean, whatever. I don't have to be. I mean, I'll laugh when I'm kicking your ass, and then I'll laugh afterwards when I have to wake you up to explain why I knocked you out, and I'll knock you out again, and I'll still laugh.
I notice you play a cop a lot. Do you think it's the mustache, the hair, maybe, or
No, it's the mustache. And the funny part, like LAPD, right at the corner of the lip, LA County Sheriff, almost every major agency. I cannot have this. Hollywood loves it, so no complaints from me. Every once in a while, I say, "Can you trim that?" I'm like, "Are you crazy? That's half my income." So no, it's they see me as a cop. I got to thank my agent way back when, brought me in, threw my head shut down. He goes, "I hate this shot. I can't believe you've ever been hired for this." And I was only with him for less than a month at that point. He goes, "I see you as a cop, so I want a very stern cop, but I also want to see a fun donut eating cop." That stern cop booked me work ever since. I mean, and this was back in the black and white days, so it was a while ago. Yeah, still a phenomenal shot, and I'm very thankful for his insight to see me going into that. And yeah, I've made a career out of that. I mean, I said earlier, I'm blessed. I mean, there's times I can do even 2 or 3 cop roles in a week. I mean, who gets that? Me.
You mentioned the other, interview, you were not a trained actor. So when you start doing the acting, is this something you learned while doing it? Is something you did you fall in love with it when you started acting?
I don't know that I ever fell in love with anything, including wrestling. No, I've never taken a formal acting class. So I don't know the Meisner and this and that. And I'm just me. And it's funny, they'll call me in for an audition and say, "Well, can you do a monologue?" I go, "No." And they're all like, "Oh." And I'm like, "I'm a character actor. I'm a character. Why would I do a monologue? Monologue means I've rehearsed something. I don't care. Hire me or don't." And so I was like, "Okay, yeah." And a lot of times it's like, "You're out of here." Do I care? Do you see tears? No, I'll go on to the next job.
Well, fair enough. Trista, do you have a question?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to say that does not work for me, Al, at all. I have
wait, which part doesn't work for you, honey?
So I know how much you work, though, and I want you to talk about some upcoming projects.
I just signed for a movie here, like I think it was the night before we did the wrestling show. So that's kind of cool. And it's something about sailing. I don't know any more than that, but I saw old sailing ships, like the old square riggers. And I sent the guy a message going, "Hey, I got square rigger experience. I've done a lot of sailing. I mean, I've sailed in Australia. I've sailed a lot in Key West, Florida. I've been to the Bahamas with my own boat. So, I've got a lot of experience." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to have you." Cool. That's all it took. Other than that, I mean, little bits and pieces here and there. That's kind of my life. I mean, I get a day job here, a day job there, and like I said earlier, a lot of times I run over, I pick up a police car, I drive to set with their gas, at the price of gas. Oh, thank you. I drive a police car to set, do my job. A lot of times they book us on a 4-hour rate, so I'm in and out in 4 hours, which we love. And and I drive back with the police car, drop it off, and the police car from my house is about 15 minutes. So I drive a total of 30 minutes, and I get to go have fun in Hollywood. I mean, that's good stuff.
Yep, can't beat that.
No.
So how has it been fun to play Punchy in the Killjoy franchise?
Punchy is a difficult character, for one. The hardest part is I wear a sumo suit underneath Punchy's suit. So, I'll have, underwear, then a sumo suit, then Punchy. It is so stinking hot. And Punchy 3 we shot in Guangzhou, China. We flew into Hong Kong, took a train into China, shot there. Humidity was probably 80%. And we were in, soundproof stages, which were air conditioned, but you could still feel the humidity and the heat. It was miserable. It was tough. one of the hardest things, and I knew I was going to get hurt, and John Lachago and I argued about it because John wrote the script and he actually created Punchy for me. Nobody else, just me. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But in the script, Killjoy and I get in a big fight. And Killjoy takes his big mallet and whoops me, and I go flying through the air. And a table that I had slammed Killjoy on earlier, it was a stunt double because I would have killed Trent. But I press over my head, slam him on the table. Later, I fly through the air after Killjoy hits me with his mallet and smash that table to smithereens. Well, we couldn't cheat the shot with any padding, and I did a dead fall off a 12-foot ladder backwards with, blind. I knew I was going to get hurt. John's like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm like, dude, we got Longclaw right next door, the biggest, baddest stuntman in the world. Let me do my job. So finally he did. I had the craft service girl freeze 3 bottles of water, regular drinking water. So I knew I'd be laying on the floor, and I thought, oh, that would feel really good, just moving the water around on me while they filmed around me. So that's what I did. Yeah, the heat factor is pretty tough. At one point, it might have been Killjoy 4. Tom Devlin, who created the mask and everything, sewed it to a T-shirt, which was a great idea because it kept popping off, up out of my suit, my shirt, with all the fights and the movement. Well, the only problem is I can never take the mask off without taking everything else off to take that T-shirt off. Mm-hmm. So there are pros and cons to that. Now, if you've ever, anybody worn the big, latex mask, oh my God, they're hot. And then plus you're breathing hot air. Your head's got hot because a lot of your heat goes through your head, and I can feel it running down my body, the sweat, the perspiration. That part of it is difficult. Another difficult part is Punchy originally only spoke in Carney, which is a language from the carnivals. The carnival workers had developed this language called Carney, and wrestlers use it because wrestling also started in the carnivals. And it's kind of a pig Latin. Well, I cannot memorize my lines, convert my lines, and then say my lines. My brain just doesn't work that way. And in Killjoy Goes to Hell, I was on the stand and basically had to give, probably 2 pages of dialogue in Carney. So basically I had to make the cheating boards, and I can read it and interpretate it, but I can't memorize it and interpret it. So that's another tough part. But Punchy's been such a fun character. I am starting on the Comic-Con circuit.
Nice.
New Hampshire's my first one at the end of September.
You're trying to.
No.
Yeah, so Punchy is going to come out in full character one day there for photos.
Oh, nice.
Now, I've had some of my Punchy fans who are also my, little Punchyettes or whatever you want to call it, my female little followers, that they talked about every time, every convention like that, get a big get together. Anybody who wants to get dressed up will do a huge group photo and see how we can build that. So I'm like, okay, that would be cool.
That sounds great.
So that's one of the fun things about Punchy. But, I love Punchy, but it is a lot of tough work. And it's, I think in China, the one day, what was it? I think I lost 15 pounds one day just from sweating.
Wow.
So it's not easy, but I wouldn't trade it for the world because I'm having a great time playing Punchy. Originally, John Lachago thought Punchy was much smarter. I did not, because Punchy's a hobo clown. So I played him as just a dumb old everyday clown. He's like, no, you're smarter. And then I saw his thinking later on when I got the hobo clowns all together and basically were like, hey, Harlequins. Smash. I smashed one's face, which if you saw the movie just turns to blood. It's awesome. I caused this big rebellion. It's like, no, there's no more hierarchy. Mess with Punchy, you get a pie in the face. So, it's the evolution of Punchy has been a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying it. And that's part of the reason I volunteered Punchy for other movies now too, I've gotten the okay. So Clown Motel 3, I believe it is. Punchy, I might be in that, and he might
that's
be
very
wrestling
cool.
another
The
clown.
Punchy universe. Yeah.
Yes, I'm liking that.
Well, I decided Punchy sat dormant for too long. Charles Band, who he doesn't own Punchy, but he owns Killjoy. And the sad part is he doesn't like Killjoy at all. Killjoy made him a ton of money, more than probably all of his puppet masters put together, all 12 or 15 or whatever. Punchy 3 made more money just in Redbox, I guess, than any other of those movies. So, the success of that, but he doesn't like it because he didn't create it, which is stupid as a businessman. But it is what it is. We talked to lawyers. We talked about what happens if we go ahead and get Charlie's okay, but run with the whole Killjoy thing. And they go, don't do it. Every lawyer we talked to is like, oh, no, you're going to get sued because Charlie owes a lot of people a lot of money, and they're going to come after you because you're the Killjoy franchise, which is part of it. So, sadly, we had to let it go, but I think a lot of us really loved the 3 movies we did with Killjoy, and we loved working with Trent, of course. I mean, phenomenal actor. I mean, I can't even touch what that guy does. He's so good. And
I read Charles Band autobiography, and he's very open about owing a lot of people a lot of money. So.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Well, good. At least he's not a lying sack of shit. But and when I did when I did Killjoy 3 in China, it took me about 6 months to get paid. Now, sadly, the girl in the office had just started when we were developing Killjoy before we left the country and stuff. Mm-hmm. Finally, at the end, I call her up. I go, you tell Charlie that if I don't get paid, I'm going to come down here and beat him to death. And so I got an email that day, copying me and the thing to Charlie. Al Burke is very mad. Please pay him today. I got paid. But knowing Charlie's reputation, I threw it in the bank and I left it for about 6 months. The check had cleared, but I wanted to make sure, because you never know.
Be safe.
I didn't really need the money, but it sat there for quite a while. And then each time he's been very good to us since then. So he's trying to change his reputation, but when you screw people, that sticks with you like tar. I mean, you're not going to get rid of it. And I don't know that he ever will. I don't know that he cares though.
Pepe Potit in the chat, he says he's a big Killjoy fan.
Yay.
Yeah.
No, Killjoy's been, like I said, I mean, interesting, fun. I mean, who gets to go to China and shoot a movie, first of all?
Exactly.
One of the cool things when I was there, a lot of them were kids, young, 18, 19, 20-year-olds, very versed in the English language. So there wasn't a big language barrier. But the guy that ran the wood shop that I had build my table spoke no English. So I walked around his shop, picked the materials, showed him how I wanted it built. He did a great job, thank you to him. But yeah, we had a huge language barrier there, but I just had to make sure when I hit that table, it disappeared. And it did. So when you walk,
I guess if you're 12 feet up on a ladder, it probably will.
Yeah, and I'm 240 plus probably sweat weight and everything else. And all the Punchy gear, I was probably close to 260, just dead falling backwards, just straight through. And I remember, because we had 3 tables, and one got broke early, and then this was the one I was going to break, and the other one was a real table. And I had set the table, and we had metal plates on there because we ate this unbelievably cute little girl. But I put the plate right on the edge of the 2 tables, and somebody moved it. And I screamed out, "Who touched my table?" And the guy goes, "Well, I moved it because on the edge." I go, "Do not." I go, "Nobody touches my table." I go, "If I miss my fall backwards because I can't look, I will hit my head there. I will slice my head wide open because it's plywood, and with the plate there, I'll get a big bump, but it'll cushion me the plate." What happened was the plate was sitting in the corner. It went, bloop. So the air from underneath just flipped it over upside down onto the real table. So I hit it perfectly. I was good. I was happy with myself. But, it's one of those things as a stuntman you got to think of. And, if I carve my head open, I don't work much after that.
No, you want to avoid that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, what's Victoria DeMar like to work with, who plays Betty Boop, multiple time guest here on the show? So hopefully you like her.
Victoria and I'm lucky with Victoria. I mean, we have a relationship. There were 2 people allowed in her dressing room for Killjoy when she's completely stark-ass naked, just getting body paint. Is John LaChago and myself. So she trusts us. There's nothing. We've never dated. Never kissed. Blah blah. So and she trusts. And even in a movie that's soon to be out, I hope it's up for sale right now. She wouldn't climb on the back of my on my chopper. I have a Mad Max chopper with 4 real saw blades welded to the front fender. But the old school 1960s sissy bar and stuff.
Oh, nice.
She wouldn't ride with anybody but me. So then I had to stunt double the pig in that one. That was Feast of Fear, which later we call Pigster. She's temperamental at times, got some issues. I mean, but we've never, her and I have never had a problem, never had a crossword, very professional. I actually did a picture with her. I think it was her music video. And again, she's a classically trained ballerina. Her family was classically trained in dance. So that's how she got around to it. But she also loves to get naked, which in Hollywood is a blessing. I mean, our big thing is you shoot the naked part first, because if the actress says, "Oh, I can't show this, that," next, you haven't wasted your time. Victoria's never like that, which, helps production greatly. But in her music video, she was bare naked. So I put my hands, not touching her, but just, probably an inch away from her breasts, and, looking over her shoulder, smiling like, "Hey, look what I got." Got a lot of crap for that, but it's like, no, it was very professional. Like I said, I never touched her breasts at all, not her nipple, nothing. Kept the distance there, and it was just for a photo op so people would talk. And my God, people. So, but I haven't heard much about Victoria lately. I don't know what she's doing.
I haven't either, actually.
Yeah. So I don't know, but like I said, I've never had a problem working with her, and it's always been good.
Yeah. Last time I was in LA, that was 2019. It was I was doing a movie, but I went to the premiere for movie Hanukkah.
I made James Balsamo at that, and now I've worked for James like a dozen times.
Yeah, I've seen that. I was going to mention James Balsamo. How annoying is that guy?
No,
He's just James getting over that now.
That would take another whole hour.
But no, James, I'm a good friend with James. He's a very funny guy.
Yeah. No, I've
sometimes.
Well, the funny part about James is he will never use me as a cop, because he goes, everybody else does. So he creates parts for me and goofy stuff. And no, it's always a challenge working with him, but it's always fun.
Yeah. You do hear a lot of puns. You gotta, they get to you after a while. You might get punchy from the puns, but
nah. I've been around too long. The funny part is I really don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about much of anything. I love working. If I don't get a job, I don't care.
So you mentioned that movie Feast of Fear, and now it's called what did you say it was called? Pigster. I saw you co-directed that. Is that something you'd like to do more of?
I only co-directed because of the fight scenes.
Oh, okay.
So I had a lot to do with that, but I stepped in on different parts because it was a difficult shoot working with the guy from the Goonies. I can't think of his name right now. That was a difficult day. He was in Expendables. He's the pot mark guy face in the
Goonies. I know who you mean. He's in I know who you mean.
He's done a ton of things.
Yeah.
I can't believe his name is escaping me right now.
Italian guy, right?
Yeah. But anyways, he was a problem. So we ended up having to split up our camera crew. And so I got put in charge of basically the B-roll to start doing some of the fight scenes. And it was funny because we shot a lot of things, and me not knowing what John Lachago needed is a difficult thing. I mean, plain and simple. Because John has everything in his head. He knows what he needs because he's going to edit it too. And he's going to do sound, and he's going to do this and do that, and do all FX. But we gave him as much as we could. And then later when we got together and reshot other parts of it, then we came up with a little better stuff. Like the wolf at one point grabs the butcher block table. And I made that table for this. And I had to make it so we could do stunts flying on that, onto that and stuff. When we did Salt Lake Comic-Con, I brought the first hatchet I made for Pigster. It's about 50 pounds. So people are like, and I'll grab it and go, what? And it is heavy, and I still have it. So that was kind of fun, teasing people with that. But then John Carius played Pigster, and he couldn't do much either. So I ended up stepping in and having to do a lot of his stunt doubling for the entire movie. The Victoria Levine, love her. She was in that. She is a dream to work with. Sadly, I think she moved back to Tennessee or Carolinas or something. But in that, I take the hatchet and I'm chopping her up while she's alive, screaming, crying, pleading, whatever. And I'm pulling out her guts and stuff. Well, I went and got real pig guts from the.
No wonder she moved back to Tennessee.
Yeah, no shit, huh? But we washed it real well. Then we put it in the black Hershey syrup, because that looks like blood. Did all that, so it smelled nice. It didn't smell bad.
Right. But
she was a little freaked out at first. But she also hadn't worked with me, and here she is. She's stark ass naked, and I'm just chopping her body up. And but between the two Victorias, Levine wins for me hands down. I don't know why. I felt she was maybe more professional, maybe easier to work with less attitude. But Victoria DeMar was okay. I mean, I'm not bad mouthing her. I'm just saying Levine was just a dream. I was so happy to work with her, and I'd love to work with her again. Unfortunately, she's not here.
Yeah, Levine the dream. Trista, do you have another question?
Yes. So besides obviously the bumps, do you draw a lot of parallels between the wrestling business and the film business, or a lot of similarities rather?
The only similarities that I have found is that I can add my expertise of falling and fighting into Hollywood. Now, John Lachago was the first one to use me and my guys. In Killjoy Goes to Hell, we had 25 pro wrestlers in that scene.
Wow.
In Freddy Krueger's old boiler room at Linda Vista Hospital.
Oh, that's wild.
Sadly, Linda Vista, they gave it away. It's now a condo or something, but it's a haunted condo. I've walked those halls. I've walked everywhere in Linda Vista looking for them ghosts. I never found them, but I was open to it. But anyways, we had people, 25 people in there fighting. And the thing that John likes is we don't miss each other. We hit each other. So you never have a bad camera angle where it's like, oh, gee, like that. It's like, bam. And, we know how to hit each other. We're not hurting each other. So that's one of those things he really enjoyed because it sped up filmmaking a lot. And plus, we're all crazy and we love this crap and we have no problem beating on each other. So, and when you stay in character and you're getting a fight scene, that was golden to him.
You said, your guys, the wrestlers, where do you know, were they people you knew when you were actively wrestling? Where do you find them?
Some of both. I can make a phone call and get 20 wrestlers today that I don't even know. I know the trainers at the different places. John said, I need fights. I need this. I had two of my guys fly in from Alaska.
Wow.
One guy fly in from Minnesota. And, the Minnesota one, the Alaska one, we crossed paths, but we were never together until we started the Alaska Pro Wrestling up there and started a wrestling school. And he's still at it with another partner now because I've walked away. But then the guy from Minnesota traveled with the WWF and me for probably 4 or 5 of my, a little over 5 years. So it was good to have him come out. And, I offered up the people I know because I'd like to stay in touch, not so much pay them back because I really don't owe them anything. But, for people that want to be part of my crew and you're trained, I'm happy to check you out. I will make a phone call. I had one guy and I called his trainer and he goes, no, don't use them. He goes, we had to let him go in the first month. I go, thank you. And I go, I'm not one, throw it in their face. I go, no, sorry, dude, you're just not going to work in my crew. And I'm kind of tough that way and I don't pull any punches and, I'm not going to sit and fight with you or badmouth you. I'm just like, no, sorry, I'm the boss and you ain't working, boy. Take a hike.
I see you worked with
Does that help you, Trista?
What was that, sorry?
Does that help you, Trista?
Yeah, you answered the question. Yeah, thank you.
Besides yourself, who what was that? I'm sorry.
I said I had to see your face again.
Oh, of course.
Oh dear, thank you.
Besides yourself, of course, who do you think are the best wrestlers turned actors?
Well, The Rock, obviously. Dwayne has just been golden. I mean, he's platinum. I don't know that he can do anything wrong. I think even if the script was bad, he had such a character in his repertoire.
Yeah, it's very likable. Big presence.
More than likely you're going to love him, but if you hate him, you're going to hate him a lot. But no, he's just, he's one of the true blue wrestlers that has made it. I don't think he's taking it. I mean, you're not going to see him going out going, excuse me, I'm an actor, stay away from me, I think he's equally nice to everybody and he's just a decent guy, which is awesome to see. I mean, I know his mom fairly well. I see her every year over at the CAC in Las Vegas for the wrestling. She's sweet also. So you could see that mom passed it on to her son. And Dwayne actually, if he's getting in not so much trouble, but if he needs somebody to watch his back and certain things, he'll fly his mom in. And, a Samoan woman, you don't want to screw. I mean, as nice as she is, I'm sure she can whoop some butt.
And he's done a lot for all his family members. I always see, him buying houses and stuff for his cousins. And he did a lot for Haku because I think Haku gave him his first pair of boots when he started wrestling. He didn't have money to buy boots. I like to see that kind of stuff.
That's a huge thing in the wrestling world. I was given a pair of boots by my trainer. I passed them on to one of the guys from Alaska. Once he got done with them, he gave them back. I've now passed them on to a different guy up in Alaska, and this one was a little more in need. But to get boots, and those boots are probably a minimum of 40 or 50 years old.
Wow.
So imagine the stories those boots are. But that's kind of passing the torch, I guess might be the right thing to say. It's a very unknown thing with the outside the wrestling world, but if you get a pair of boots from somebody, treat them like gold and make sure you take care of them, and then you pass them on if that is what is required of you.
What would you think is the best movie about wrestling?
None.
All right, fair enough.
The wrestler sucked in my opinion. The reason being the number of places that happens is only in the Southeast. For whatever reason, they all thought they all had to bleed every night. It's really sad when you see some of the old guys, and many of them are gone now, but you look at their forehead and it's just nothing but scars on top of scars. I tell people, you don't see any scars here. I got one huge one up here. I think I told you earlier, 9 staples to close my head on a chair here.
Oh,
I told you on the last show.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. I don't understand that whole thing. Things will happen. But no, I don't. Cutting yourself? Why? My opinion is if you can't wrestle, I guess that's the next thing. Maybe you should learn to wrestle.
I like that. I'll always think of like when we saw Manny Fernandez at like an an old wrestling thing, and his head looked like hamburger. And
Oh, it did.
he hasn't wrestled for what 25 years, you know. And it's like,
you know, maybe just
been
here too, but yeah.
I mean, the funny part, he would do his matches. I think he worked a lot with Wahoo McDaniel.
Yep.
All they'd have to do is punch each other once in the head and just halfway land the punch. They're bleeding. They don't even have to cut anymore. It's that much scar tissue.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm not the greatest looking guy or anything like that, but I don't want to be disfiguring myself for a business that I really think is stupid. And I said that earlier, last show. It's a stupid business before I got in it. Now I've been in it for 37 years. It's still a stupid business. But
now you know, you don't just think.
Well, we sacrifice so much to entertain. Do we need to? No, but it became a part of what we did. I signed up, so I gave it my all. And 37 years worth, yeah, I busted my butt. But yeah, I'm not going to be slicing my head wide open, even once.
I don't blame you.
No, me
either. Yeah. Can you tell us about I know you probably can't tell too much about it, but Hell's Coming For You.
Interesting concept. Part of my problem is I do not have the time to read a full script. So when they send me a script, I go, okay, great. What pages are mine? Because I don't got time for this. I go, I get my stuff. I have to study very hard because I've had way too many head injuries. I've probably am in excess of 25 concussions, from football to boxing to karate to wrestling. It was just one of those things. Some days it works great. A lot of days it don't. So I don't even know what's going on. I get my part, I memorize my lines as best I can, and that's it. So I don't know a lot of the whole thing. I mean, you get bits and pieces as people are coming in working like, and I did help the lead guy who was actually in a wheelchair, not audition, but practice with a acting coach. So we were on Zoom and I would read many of the other parts, not just my part. And then he would read off of, his part. And then the acting coach was helping him through this. And I didn't know that at the time, but yeah, he had the big part in the movie. So he had to be very good. There again, I'm just the character. I was the Arizona Highway Patrol. And the cool part was, as soon as they told me that, I'm like, okay, I'm on it. I look it up. I'm like, wow, it's a CHP uniform with an Arizona patch. Not a problem. Got online, got my buddies, hey, cop buddies, I need an Arizona Highway Patrol patch. Oh, here's two. Thank you. $10 each or whatever. I had them within a week, sewed them on, and see, I don't take my patches off my uniform to put other patches on. I have about 30 uniforms here.
Oh, that's wild.
I don't think it looks professional. Take it off, put it on. You see, different marks or, whatever. I'll spend the, $40, $50. Who cares? Buy a new shirt. And if I never use it again, that's okay. But I want it to look right. And the cool part was I got to work with Sin Bodhi. Mm-hmm. And it's a very, very cool scene. I mean, I pull him over on, I'm on my police bike and he's on his chopper. And not the one that I bought from him for Pigster, but a newer one. And he's just a cantankerous little part. And he ain't listening to anything I have to say. And we end up getting into it. And, there were a few blows, shall we say. And we were rolling in the desert. You'll have to watch for the rest.
Well, very good. I saw you've worked with Sin a couple times. So do you guys know? Have you known him for a long time?
I have not. I met him in Vegas at our convention over there. We became friends, and then he brought me in the very first wrestling show I did for him. There happened to be a ramp from outside in, and next thing you know, I'm in full police uniform, red and blue lights are going, and I hit the siren, I pull in, I'm like, shut it down. I go, you got no referee. And, Sin being the goofy Sin, he's like, you could be the referee, so building up to it. So I ended up jumping in the ring and refereeing for them. But the crowd had no idea. I mean, I pull in, like I said, and my police bikes are real or were real. And so I pull in and jump off full, even my, my high top leather boots. And I was the referee in the match. Well, Finn was choking the guy on the ropes, and I basically jumped over in the guy's face and said, "Get off the ropes, quit choking yourself." Because I was
Yeah.
So, we had fun and developed it, but then another one, he had an octopus that I think the octopus arms were at least 8 or 10 feet long each, the tentacles, and he had puppeteers working it. So we're wrestling, fighting these things off, fighting each other. That was an interesting night, yeah. But anybody I told that went to work for Sin, I go, everything you've ever learned about wrestling in wrestling school, forget it. It's got nothing to do with this show. We're just going to have fun. And it is fun. It's crazy. Punchy came out and wrestled once.
Oh, nice.
And Punchy ended up knocking down the whole band with a toilet. Where that came from, I don't know. That was Sin's brain. I twirl around with the toilet, hitting people all over the place. So it's a wild, crazy thing. But, Sin's doing great stuff out there in his own world. He's developed this whole almost like alternate wrestling universe of bizarrism. So, and we did do a video once where I pulled him over. He was actually riding his old bike. He happened to be in town, so he got on the Mad Max chopper. He's riding that, and I pull him over. And basically, I'm reaming him for driving too fast. Like, oh, wait, I'm sorry, Mr. Bodie. He goes, yeah, I'm heading to Memphis to wrestle. Let me take you. In other words, he jumps on my bike and rides that off. So we've had some fun with our little skits. But his very inventive mind. Awesome wrestler. He was very upset when he got his WWE contract.
Yeah,
they had just changed from WWF, and nobody wanted that. They wanted old school WWF because that rocked, and the rest sucks.
His run there was short lived, but it's much like Punchy. He was Kazarni, and he talked all in.
And for whatever reason, Vince decides you're either going to be a money maker or you're not, and I've seen people come and go quickly, and some people stay a lot. So that's Vince's call, and he's the man.
Yeah. He's done some stuff for AEW recently too, so that was cool to see. Trista, do you have another question?
Do you have any advice for someone who might aspire to a similar career as yours?
Don't do it. Run away quickly. A couple go just to the acting career. I was fortunate coming out of wrestling. I don't remember if I mentioned this before. They gave us a sheet of paper, regular, paper, line paper, and it had probably 50 emotions written on it. And we were each given a copy and sent home. I wish I still had it because it would have been awesome. But in front of a mirror, you look and it says anger. Well, then there's 10 different ways to be angry, so you had to try to come up with the variations. I think that really helped me with with acting. But that was my schooling way back. I've never taken an acting class. So I throw my heart and soul in a project that I get, the parts I get, and try to do the best I can. I mean, sometimes the director's like, no, that's not what I want. Other times you're like, oh my God, I got nothing to say. That's awesome. So, it's hit and miss, but it's not easy. You have to figure out, and I tell people, sit and watch TV and decide, can you play this part? Can you play that part? Can you play that part? I go, you have to be honest with yourself. And I'll go down the line, like I do a lot of seminars, and I'll say, I'll be going along, oh, you with that hair? Yeah, homeless at best. You're never going to be a cop. Trista, yeah, cute, but can you tie your hair back? If you can be something other than the cute little girl. But interesting, you're never going to be black. And they look at you and go, if the part's written for a black person, you're not going to get it. you know, and it's not prejudice or anything like that. The director sees that character as being something. You are trying to fulfill that character for him. And it's nothing to do with prejudice or anything else. He just sees it, and somehow that fits into the whole thinking of a story. So that's kind of a guessing game of what you have to do, but don't just think of yourself as one thing as an actor, you know, and I'm saying actor as actress too. We consider actresses as actors, you know, because we're all lumped into that. But think of different ways. And like they say, every time you go into an audition, you should have at least 3 different ways of doing that audition. It might be Southern, you know, it might be tougher, happier, sadder, you know, meaner, you know, whatever it is. But one of the other things is they always say, go in big, let them bring you down. If you start low, they probably will never bring you up. So true to a point. So I go somewhere in the middle. And then if they give me a chance, then I'll take it way over the top. And, you know, and I've won some things that way too. So, but it's a hard business. You have to work hard, but really get your characters in your head, and not as much the dialogue, but your character. Think, put together a little backstory, you know, what you think this character is, and then work from there. And that helps you visualize in your head, and then you come out with that character, which I think helps a lot of actors.
Dave Bailey here's in the chat, and he wants to know, have you ever been in a battle royal?
I have a few times. The last one I did was 16 of us. I ended up winning that. And that was the King of the Ring, the wrestling, pro wrestling king. And yeah, I went against, you know, some big names, big guys. And I trained, that one I trained for about 9 months. I realized I was not in good enough shape. 9 months, and probably the minimum was 5 miles a day. And I wasn't in good enough shape. Yeah, I mean, I was okay at the end, but I was gassed. The whole match probably went 15 to 18 minutes. So yeah, that was my last battle royal. I've been in some other ones. I think I mentioned the one where I had to chase the guy out of the ring after I split his face wide open.
Yep.
That was a battle royal in Alaska. So yeah, I've done quite a few. They're fun. They're interesting. We've done ones where we do nothing but chop the guy until their chest is almost bleeding. And basically, you know, if we got a newbie or something, it's kind of the initiation. You know, 2 of us will just hold his arm so he can't go anywhere. And we'll just next. And yeah, so yeah, we've done some crazy stuff like that. Very first one I did was in Chicago, and it was fun and interesting. And yeah, so yeah, you know, interesting stories with each one of them. But battle royals are cool.
Will we ever see a Punchy action figure?
We got so close. Charles Band was supposed to. Victoria DeMar held him up. He sat in his office until he signed the paper to agree to make hers.
All right, I was going to say there's the Betty Boop figure.
If you've seen the one they made, sadly it was horrible. It's a piece of crap. Nothing about Victoria or anything.
Right.
It just wasn't well made. It could have been so much better.
Yeah, because actually, honestly, a lot of the figures off Full Moon, the movies look great, like all of the Puppet Master figures and stuff.
Because he likes the movie, he'll put money into it. You know, even with Victoria, you know, I mean, he doesn't have a more skilled naked actress that has no problem being naked. And, you know, I mentioned that earlier, and believe me, that is a huge, tough part. And I always tell women, if you're not willing to do any part of that, do not volunteer for 1 second of it. Stay away from it. Tell them no. Don't say yes and then hope to change their mind later, because it never works that way and it never ends up well. You know, we have no problem with women that don't want to get naked. I mean, that's just part of it. But if you are, you know, we've had the ones with, you know, the fake boobies and this and that and whatever. And, you know, and funny, quick story. My cousin who lives in Florida sent me a message going, I want to come to Hollywood and be an actress because I've got, was it double D boobs and they're real and they don't say. I'm like, so? Well, no, but they're real. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? Well, you've got all that fake stuff out there. I go, no offense, fake stuff films better than the real. And, you know, nobody has a problem with it, but you. So she had 2 kids, so that all went away. But anyways, you know, people think, oh yeah, you know, we don't want silicone. Hollywood doesn't mind silicone and certain things. I mean, I know we've done Westerns where most of the actresses are not supposed to have silicone because in push-up corsets and things like that, it doesn't read right. I know every once in a while they do it and it does look horrible. But that's one of the instances, anything older like that, you know, there weren't fake boobs around in the 50s. So,
but I would think that should go with anything. Like if you're not wanting to do something, no matter what it is, don't agree to do it for the movie. Because I'm friendly with people who make the Tom Six, who made the Human Centipede films, and in the third one of the big actors in that, he agreed to do the movie, but then he wouldn't do anything where he was part of the Centipede, which I get. I mean, if you don't want to do that, but he signed up to do the movie. Why would you even agree to be in the movie if you're not going to do one of the main scenes?
A couple of reasons: starving for the attention, starving for another role, you know, things like that. Hoping to change the director's mind later. You know, trying to think up excuses. Okay, I want to do this, but yeah, I don't want to do that. I think I'll look stupid, or you know, I go back to I can't be naked or whatever. You know, you're looking at the business all wrong. If you're going in, yes, it's you jump in with both feet and you go, plain and simple. And if there's something you're not willing to do, just tell it. No, I'm sorry, I can't do it because of this. Be honest. Right. Nobody minds anybody being honest. And that's the biggest thing I tell the women is like, just be honest. You know, if you're willing to do just breasts, say breasts only, nothing below. But I go, says that's a slippery slope because, well, if you do one, why don't you just, you know, just don't go there. You know, and I would prefer them be honest and just say, no, sorry, no nudity. I just want to be an actor. Perfect, not a problem. And one of the best ones that oh shoot, no, she was in the Vegas movie that Sin and I did. Mindy. Mindy Robinson.
Okay.
She started off. She's all of like 5'1", 5'2", little shapely thing. I met her on LMFAO, Sorry for Party Rock. We did that together. She's got, you know, full rack. I mean, I don't know how big they are, but she's a little tiny body, so they look extra large. She did a lot of nudity in the beginning. She's now the Randy Couture's boyfriend from the MMA, UFC.
Yeah.
But she's now, it's like, no, I've done my nudity. I've achieved a certain level. I'm not going back. Like, oh, okay. I know a lot of us, and even in Killjoy, I mean, Killjoy Goes to Hell, she was one of my 2 naked devils. She was, I think, the red devil, and the other girl was the blue devil. They did wear snatch patches, so they weren't completely naked. They didn't do a Victoria DeMar. So, but even that, you know, that gets to be an issue too. I mean, they've been asked to do it completely, and they're like, "Oh no, I've got to wear something down below." You know, just make sure you say that up front. You know, nobody has a problem with. Just don't save it till later when we need it now, and now you're screwing everybody over.
Yeah.
So,
where can people follow you to see what you're up to?
Instagram is probably the easiest. Al Burke, all one word, 4782. I think I mentioned on the wrestling thing. I got between 5,000 and 10,000 people just from Billie Eilish when I did her video.
That's right.
I got like another 5,000 from Nicki Minaj. when I did her album cover. She did Press, and I'm sorry, Cardi B.
Oh, okay.
Cardi B, the Press cover where she was almost naked, but she, the female director of photography, she was talking to her a lot and like, if you can't make me look naked, I will be naked. I got but trying to have a little bit of class because we were outside shooting some of this. And the DP, she said, no, don't worry, you'll look it. And it looks pretty cool. There are a lot of cool shots we got a lot of cool press from Press. But yeah, things like that. I mean, I think it was 5,000 or 6,000 just from her fans when my picture showed up with me and her.
Oh, very cool.
So, it's snowballing. I think I'm up to like 30-some thousand now, and it's not huge numbers, but
that's pretty cool though.
Yeah, but all the different little things. I mean, all these different videos when I like the fans will send me a screenshot. Oh my God, I just saw this video and there you are. So I will go ahead and thank them for it and I'll post the screenshot they sent.
Nice.
That's honest. It's really weird you mentioned that because actually a friend of mine earlier today, they sent me a screenshot. They said that something popped up on YouTube and they said, "This the guy that you're having on the show tonight." I was like, yeah. And it was a music video.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Which one do you remember?
Eminem Without Me video.
That was probably, the screenshot was Eminem wouldn't let me.
Looks like I don't know if you can see that. It's like looks like from a comic book.
Yeah, okay. That's the first part of the video where we're saying, "Look who's back! Look who's back!"
Oh, yeah.
Back. And but at the end, I'm punching Eminem, but he decided that I was too intimidating, and so they superimposed Eminem's face over the sumo guy who was in that picture with me.
Mm-hmm.
We got a big fat sumo guy in Eminem's face, and I'm punching. The goofy things we do in Hollywood.
Well, that's very fun though.
Yeah.
This has been very fun to talk with you again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I try to post a lot of things on Instagram, so I try to keep the fans well fed in pictures and things. And like I said, if fans, even the Billie Eilish fans, and most of them are teenagers or preteen, they will color me pictures of Billie and I posted those. So I get a lot of artwork, fun things like that. So
that's pretty neat.
Try to pay back the fans and little stuff like that, and I'm happy to do it.
That's very cool. And thanks, Trista, for setting this up.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us, Al.
Thanks. Nice seeing you. And don't ditch me next time, girlfriend.
Oh, I would never.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Woo! Bye. Nice seeing you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks
everybody
so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Bye. And we'll talk to you soon, Al.
Yeah, we'll have to come up with something next time.
Exactly.
I know. Thanks again.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.